Well, hello my friends, welcome back to what might very well be the final part of my Alith Anar Avatar of Khaine Let's Play campaign for Total War Warhammer 2. It has been a long journey, it's been a fun ride, but all good things must come to an end, and that is especially true for Malekith and the Dark Elves. Their empire, well, it hasn't been a very nice civilization. They haven't really spread the love, at least not in any way that we would typically enjoy, but they're about to get the business from Alith Anar himself. And it has been a really, really long war. I mean, you think about, we started the war with Malekith maybe around turn 40. It's turn 140 now, and maybe a little bit later than that, maybe like turn 50, turn 60. But, I mean, it's been a long time coming. We have taken Har Kuldra, we have smashed them near the Chaos Waste, we've taken Ashrak, we landed near Harganeth, took that from Hellebron, and they actually ended up confederating about 15 or so turns ago. I fast-forwarded a little bit, because I haven't actually fought any interesting battles this entire time. It's been about 20 turns since last you guys saw my campaign, and we are now literally down to the final two Nagarythe settlements. Frozen City and the Palace of Ruin. Malekith is back, and he should be recruiting stuff. I don't honestly know what just happened to these armies. I think there was a Tomb King army here that came all the way over from Katep, but they got smashed. I'm not really sure how, though, because they were inside the Frozen City. It's a level 5 settlement with a pretty powerful garrison, and they had plenty of troops. But, I mean, let's be honest, Malekith has gotten used to losing recently. And what we're going to do, I think, is move forward, take Frozen City. But before we do any of that stuff, there's actually another battle brewing down here. Now, we've gotten to a point where we're snowballing pretty hardcore, and I think it might be interesting, and I'm curious what you guys have to say about it. I might, at some point later down the road, I don't know when, revisit this campaign and see if I can, like, fight the Greenskins or see if there are any superpowers on the planet right now that would actually be worth fighting, that would make for an interesting content. But at the moment, I mean, in our little corner of the world, our very big corner of the world, actually, we are just smashing everything apart, and we have, like, 6 full-stack armies now, almost, or maybe 5. So we're really, really powerful, and when it comes to one single faction fighting us, they're probably not going to be able to do that well. But once you get to the later stages of the game, of course, chaos comes, that throws a wrench in everybody's plans, and of course there are superpowers that start making super pacts between each other, and that's when things can start getting a little bit more challenging for a bit before you begin the snowball yet again. So we do have a couple more housekeeping issues to take care of, and one of them is in Slaver's Point, just south of Karan Kar, and I think we're definitely going to fight this one, because even though they have no chance of beating us in a battle, it'll still be an interesting battle. So let's fight this one. They got a bunch of Dread Spears, some Black Ark Corsairs, some Dark Shards, and we have, I mean, what is honestly a very good army, very well balanced. We have a Phoenix for the Terror. We've got some Dragon Princes now, some Bolt Throwers, and a full squadron of Shadow Warriors, Sword Masters, Phoenix Guard. Now, we've gotten some good upgrades for them as well. I mean, they're up to 52 melee defense, 53 melee attack, really strong. So we're going to go down and fight this one, and then deal with the Dark Elves up north, Malekith himself, and then we'll see where we go from there. But yeah, let me know in the comment section if you guys want to see me, maybe later on, I don't know if it's a month later down the road or whatever. Do you guys want to see me maybe do a little bit exploring and see if we can run into any superpowers a little bit later on in this campaign? But yeah, let's fight this battle. And finally, after 140 turns, we can field Dragon Princes of Kalador with that absolutely gorgeous black and gold color scheme. Doesn't matter if you're repping Pittsburgh, doesn't matter if you're repping Nagarythe, black and gold or black and yellow is always going to look good. And that feels good, man, because we're going to be using them a lot this battle, and as much as we can for the remaining battles of this campaign. One of my favorite units in the entire trilogy, hands down. Absolutely love Dragon Princes. So, it's an interesting time to be a Total War fan. Obviously, we had the whole content announcement that we won't be getting any new, we won't be getting a Lord pack until 2019. We will be getting whatever the campaign pack is by the end of the year. I'm thinking it's probably going to be around August or September. August might be a little bit iffy. Grace has already confirmed that we will not be getting an announcement for it in July, which kind of sucks. And I'm curious what you guys think about it. I'm curious what you guys think about the delays. Are you happy with them? Did you end up seeing Rich's explanation for the way they're handling DLC in Game 2? Obviously, I think the majority of us want as much content as possible. Problem is, if it comes at the expense of being like high quality and it's buggy or whatever, and it's not tested properly, then that's kind of an issue in and of itself. But those aren't always mutually exclusive, right? I mean, I imagine Queen and Crone was extensively tested, and one of the leading lords in that pack had some serious issues that I discovered. Hellebron was a bit problematic for a while there. But yeah, I mean, I'm torn about it. Obviously, I want Southern Realms or whatever the next campaign pack as soon as possible, and I want that Lord pack. And honestly, I think the Lord pack probably should have come before it, because finishing up Skaven and Lizardmen is probably more important than whatever minor faction will be in that campaign pack. But I don't know, it's interesting. I'm curious what you guys think about the whole situation. I'm torn on it, honestly. I can see it both ways. I want as much content as possible. As a content creator, it's like that's the lifeblood of the channel. When new stuff is coming, that's when most people are watching. But it's definitely can go both ways there. So we're gonna be using some Shadow Warriors in the Vanguard here, getting some good skirmishing done, and then Dragon Princes around the flank. And of course, we have Durian the Eversmelly on his Sun Dragon to unleash some breath attacks and do some damage that way. So let's get it popping, like Orville Redenbacher, and do some skirmishing early on. Get those Dragon Princes out to the flank, and you can move up. And you bolt throwers need to start unleashing into some of these juicy targets there. And this is actually perfect time to use these right here, the multi-shot rounds. Normally, I actually don't like them. Even against high armor infantry, I typically like to go just the normal bolts, because they have higher armor piercing and they just seem to actually get kills. Like if you're against the Iron Breakers, I'd rather just use the single bolts. But here, when there's a lot of like kind of low armor infantry and they're kind of spread out, I think going for the multi-shot rounds is pretty good. Let's do a Dragon Breath. And we can definitely take that. Dark Riders, are you sure you want to take that fight? I don't feel like that's really a cup of tea right there. Move you around the flank.
Dragon Princess.
Oh, those Dark Shards are going to hurt. Let's get a rear charge off on that real fast, and then actually I'll just have you come over. You got over there fast. Got 63 kills on that first breath. I'll take that. And Phoenix Guard, move up. Check out those Dragon Princes, how they're doing very, very nicely. And let's just shoot the gap right here and go right for the Dark Shards. Beautiful. Okay. Swordmasters can go in. Is that a Canine Assassin? No, that's a regular Dreadlord. Oh yeah. Some squishy targets in the back lines that are free now. And this is why I love Dragon Princes, dude. I can kind of just let them do their thing and not worry about them too much. They're gonna smash stuff, man. Swordmasters going there. Murderous Prowess is pop, but does it matter? Absolutely not. They're gonna master out pretty soon.
Eagle Claw.
Weapons ready.
Let's get another breath attack in.
Prince of Ulthuan. Orders understood.
There was stuff there. It could be a nice little snack for our dragon in a second here. We should get you moving. Frostheart Phoenix go in as well. And oh yeah. Oh, I love them so much.
For duty.
Yeah, the unfortunate thing about Total War campaigns that I've found is a lot of the time, once you start getting to the really, really high tier stuff and start fielding armies like this, is at the point where you're already snowballing and the campaign already feels kind of like a foregone conclusion. That changes in Mortal Empires though, right? Because these empires start getting forged and they're actually, like, they truly have 8 full stacks of really good troops. So it's not so much true in Mortal Empires, but there are definitely hills that you kind of have to cross where you'll basically be snowballing for a while, just completely out of control. No one in your corner of the world can stop you. And then the only way you can actually give yourself a challenge is if you start truly seeking out those superpowers and doing things that are maybe a little bit roleplay. Like, I could, for example, go move towards Castle Drakenhalf right now, or move towards Karak Azul, where the Greenskins, I'm sure, have a really gigantic army, a really gigantic empire there. And that could be a situation where the Greenskins have like 8 stacks, and reinforcing mine will be very difficult. So that would be a bump in difficulty for sure. But then you get to that point again where you start snowballing after you've killed a few of their armies, and I don't know. It'll be interesting what you guys have to say about continuing the campaign with where I deliberately try to do something silly to make myself like overextend or have bigger issues with my empire building.
Prince of Ulthuan.
But yeah, that was pretty simple right there. I'm not gonna lie. Didn't take too many casualties. Dragon Prince is easily over 100 kills each. Did take a lot of damage on Durian though.
To war!
Let's end it right there, and I'll see you back on the campaign map. Alrighty, well that was pretty simple. Didn't really expect anything less.
Lord of the
Such
Phoenix.
godlike micro. Ugh. So right now we're gonna level him up. Durian the Eversmelly is now level 20. Oh, that's a Star Dragon. That feels good. Okay, so we've got him a Star Dragon, and what the hell? Dude, Malagor is here. Malagor is in the Altar of Ultimate Darkness. I have never seen Malagor or any of the Beastmen hordes, the actual Beastmen faction, in Naggaroth, ever. I don't know if he marched here? I imagine he spawned here. But how did he get here? Like, do they just randomly kind of respawn wherever you are? I'm not actually sure how Beastmen Bray herds work when they get wiped out. But yeah, he's here in the Altar of Ultimate Darkness, and if he wants to be a dick, he could totally attack me. And there wouldn't be a whole lot I would do about it, but there is something very important here. So, again, I don't know if we're going to be going for the full objectives. We take a look at what our objectives are for short campaign victory. We're very close. If we wanted to go to war with Gatep, it would only take 2 provinces before we had the Doomglades and the Iron Mountains wrapped up. And we actually have 6 of the 8 important settlements as well. Ancient City, Harganath, Haghall, Hexadal, Lothern, because of our military alliance with Lothern, who has grown absolutely ginormous. We're military allies with them, so we only need 2 more. And then we need a Moondragon and the Black Citadel of Anlek, which we can now build because we are a level 5 settlement in Tor Anlek. So plus 10 public order provides a nice garrison and income. Yeah, it's not half bad. But it's not amazing either. We'll do it for fun. Anarion, they spelled Anarion wrong. Why does that not surprise me? Anarion himself once sat upon the throne at Tor Anlek, making the city a focal point of Azure defenses. And then for funsies, let's build... Sure, why not? Some Sisters of Avalor. I think economy is probably more, but yeah, let's just do that.
The Asur are ageless.
Most astute.
So, something did get announced today, or hinted at least, saw on Total War Reddit, that Rome 2 is getting something, which we already knew. We knew they were going to get a DLC pretty soon. And there's going to be something going into beta tomorrow. So there will be news on the Rome 2 front tomorrow. It was just a cinematic of a tree. And some pretty epic music from maybe Jeff Van Dyke. I'm curious what you guys think it's going to be. There's something that fairly obvious what it will be. I mean, and it's confirmed, right? Treebeard. Treebeard will be coming to Rome 2 as the new faction.
Noble son of...
No, but it's probably a family tree. It's probably a family tree. What do you guys even think about Rome 2 at this point? Like, overall, I think the game is relatively polished, and I mean, I've had a lot of fun with it. I have like 500 hours on the game. But at this point, what is it, like 4 or 5 years after launch? It's really hard for me to care about new content. I mean, as you guys know, like when they do new DLCs for it, I'll usually make like a video or 2 and then be done. I didn't even make a Desert Kingdoms video because I mean, like the factions are cool, but the game's old as hell. It doesn't look that good. And I don't know, like classical antiquity at this point for me in the Rome 2 setting is just meh. Like, it's really hard for me to get into, I'm not gonna lie. So I don't know if I'll do any... I guess it depends what the time period is, because I like that period of history for sure. Like, it's really interesting. But I played so much Rome 2, it's... And especially after Warhammer 2 DLCs, it's really hard for me to get hype about it, you know?
For order.
So we're gonna move on Frozen City here. And...
Uri fair.
Oh god. You know what, let's continue the siege.
A
Let's just...
strong leader.
I don't want to fight. Why? Like, why, dude? A couple Black Guard and some Dark Shards? Why would the
Their
auto-resolve
deaths
be like
are
that?
necessary. For the Everqueen.
Why do you do this to me?
Alith Anar. Ready. Come, Shadow Warriors.
Let's just move Alith Anar into range and
Via
then
land.
Uri
get that
fair.
auto-resolve
No mercy.
in. Okay. We'll
The
definitely play a
Asura
final
have
battle against
conquered.
Malekith, whatever
We'll
is
retrieve
needed.
it from your corpse.
Stop screaming at me, Jesus. But
An honor.
hopefully it'll be one that's actually worth playing. I need to start recruiting some stuff. Ooh. Now that's interesting. I didn't think units would be able to get added retroactively like that. That's really cool. It probably helps that I'm playing unmodded right now, but I didn't think Charybdis would be able to get in because I started this campaign long before the Charybdis came out. And he's got his hands on them. Those are some elite units for sure. Plenty of monsters, but they need some infantry if they want to be able to fight me.
Lethal grace given full.
Master Strategist. Alith Anar
Can I
is
offer assistance?
level 40, by the way. Which is pretty badass.
This is home for now.
He is max level, and I believe that there's no one on the map who's even close to that. Excuse me. Grimgor, maybe? No, he's level 16. Yeah, that's a joke. I don't think anyone is, dude. Dorothy's like level 13, and the Crag Halls. I think Mel Gibson was like level 15. So yeah, Avatar of Khaine has done some serious work this battle, or this campaign.
The Asura are troubled.
Where are we at? So we do have another army being built in Hag Hall. I mean, this is what I talk about when I'm talking about snowballing out of control. Like, once you start fielding full stacks of Sisters of Avalorn and Phoenix Guard, AIs can't really stop you, and especially not if you decide to snowball them together and start like moving them in packs. If you start going all over the map and having like one army fight in the Southlands, one army fight in Lustria, that kind of thing, it can take a lot longer, but it really does come down to the role playing if you want to make it a little bit more challenging.
Onward then.
To be honest, we've had plenty of challenge this campaign, if you think about it. I mean, just going the Avatar of Khaine route itself. These public order penalties were an issue for a really long time. Let's get some money.
I serve the king.
Hand of the Shadow Crown has been incredibly useful this campaign, actually. There have been 5, 6, 7 really high level agents that have messed up a lot of my settlements up here. Like this dude. This dude's probably going to be level 25. 31.
Pathetic.
Yeah. Having a Hand of the Shadow Crown to deal with that is real useful. And we actually got one of our previously injured one back, so your job, my friend?
Hunt the Druki scum.
Hunt her down. I didn't actually realize that I could have 2 of them on the map at the same time. So we got another one back in
Anar's bidding.
Arnheim.
Never
And you
again.
can continue your slow march northwards. Well, let's end the turn right there. And I think maybe next turn, the truly great battle of our time.
Rising in the northern wastes, the armies of chaos are on the move. They surely plan to invade the world of mortals once again.
Whoa! Chaos is here. Well, that's interesting. That throws a bit of a wrench in things, doesn't it? We're gonna lose some settlements. They just appeared out of nowhere, as if from the realms of chaos themselves. Let's see what's in these armies. Now, Shrine of Khaine can easily defend itself, but Twisted Glade, they might be in some trouble. I mean, I have really good garrisons like everywhere, though. That's the thing. But I don't have any vision of these. So hopefully, Lothern will do me a solid here and kill some of their navies for me. That'd be real nice. I do wish naval was a bigger factor in Total War Warhammer 2 and the series in general. I mean, obviously, it'd be incredibly hard to do naval battles correctly, because it'd be its own game. I mean, the amount of variety inherent in naval combat in Warhammer is insane. I'm sure most of you guys know that by now if you've seen the units that are available in Dreadfleet. Doing dwarf ironclads against dragon ships for the High Elves and Black Arcs actually sailing, and the size of those, and monstrous beasts and all the things that goes into that. I mean, literally, it could easily be its own game. And I don't even know if I would hate it if CA decided to tackle that after this trilogy was done. It'd be pretty dope. Although, to be honest, and some people probably hate me for this, but I wouldn't mind if they did an Age of Sigmar game either. They'd be able to reuse some assets, but, I mean, like, there's a ton of potential there. The lore is not as good as Warhammer Fantasy right now, but Warhammer Fantasy had the advantage of being able to write lore for 30 years before it got to this point, right? I mean, Age of Sigmar has been around for 5, maybe? 4? The lore's gonna get better. Like, it's just the nature of the game right there. So I would not mind. I would not mind if I would totally buy it and support it if CA decided to go Age of Sigmar route when this is all said and done. Way like after this trilogy is complete, after every piece of content they are going to add has been added, for sure. And the benefit of stuff like Rome 2 still getting additional content so many years later is that kind of philosophy might carry over to this as well.
Can I offer assistance?
Which is awesome. I mean, think about that. Like getting Legendary Lords 4 years after Total War Warhammer 3 comes out. They could totally do that if they want to. There's a potential for this to be a super long-running series for sure. What are you guys doing, man? Like I can't fight this battle. Like it won't be interesting at all. 2 Bleak Swords, 2 Dread Spears, and some Carib. I mean,
how can I assist you?
Shadow Stalker.
Dude, the attrition is really brutal up here.
At your service.
Let's put you into encamp mode right here.
Make camp.
Yeah, and then you'll get back up to full. I mean, yeah, there's some good units there. Cool one, Dread Knights, Hydras, Charybdis. They pack a punch.
It will be easy.
But they're just running. They're like,
Wait my time.
I mean, honestly, that's a pretty realistic approach to what's happening right now. Avatar of Khaine's coming to kill my lord. We have been absolutely smashed for 100 turns. Let's just book it and leave Malekith to die for the 17th time.
I await your
I don't
command.
blame him.
Ulfuan Prince.
But yeah, let's move out of Slaver's Point because it doesn't look like they're heading that direction. Maybe go try to defend Twisted Glade.
Launching out.
Cross over here. You're in my way, dude.
Lord of Ulfuan.
Okay, that's not what I wanted at all. I wanted to use the land. Oh my god! This game. Where do I actually cross? Like, how do I... Game's hard, bro. Alright, whatever. We're going back to Slaver's Point. Pathfinding, way too hard. Let's check out the army over here.
Lethal grace given form.
We have the Citadel of Anlek being built.
Asur Prince.
Yeah, we're very close. This army, their job will be to go hunt down Chaos. Let's get you a couple more Phoenix Guard, maybe one more Sister of Avalorn. This is gonna be 3 turns. It's not worth it. Maybe one more one more Dragon Prince, and one more Swordmaster. Yeah. Okay. And then we can recruit a caster. Which we have a lot of choices on. Lore of Shadows is really good against Chaos. Lore of Life is really good in general. Let's go Shadows for funsies. Probably, arguably the most visually interesting Lore of Magic in the game. I think Penumbral Pendulum is such a cool looking spell. So is... Well, Melkos isn't really. But Pit of Shades is. Pit of Shades is awesome. Alright, let's Conductor, Bombardment, Uranus, Thunderbolt. That's sick. Just a bounce spell? It's expensive as hell, but... It's a really good spell against Chaos. So let's go her.
You summoned me.
I did indeed.
I sense items of
We're starting out at level 5 too. We will take that. Get you some Penumbral Pendulums. Get you Smoke and Mirrors. I'm gonna call it for now.
Orders.
Alright. Next turn. I'm very curious where Chaos decides to go. They might go Shrine of Cain. And we might have to put the smackdown on them. The garrison there is really good. And then after that, Palace of Ruin. We'll see what Malekith does. He's not even recruiting right now. He's still in march stance. AI starts derping out real hard when you start taking those settlements from them. They do stuff like that. Maybe, I mean, it's possible they don't have the economy to actually build any more troops. I'd be very surprised if that was the case. But he's just kind of sitting there. And, capitulating. Bending over for our boy, Avatar of Khaine. Alright, let's end turn there. I'll see you in a couple seconds. Naval battles be a brewing here, that's for sure. Just imagine the glory of seeing these dragon ships unleash a couple star dragons from within their holds and just burn a bunch of longships to the cinder, and actually be able to see that in cinematic and real-time battle. That would be that'd be a sight to behold, I'm not gonna lie. Now they're sailing to my hometown, that's for sure. Twisted Glade will probably fall pretty soon, I think. In the north, I think it's time to fight.
Prey.
I think we need to say Alith Anar's bloodlust at least one more time. But yeah, it's... Let's see
Fury.
What do we have in these armies?
Lord of the Phoenix Court.
Let's not attack with
Alith
both.
Anar.
I think this killing blow belongs to our boy.
We begin. No mercy.
That attrition is brutal.
To battle.
So, the faction won't actually die after this battle, which is unfortunate, because they have those two lords running for the hills, but those guys can't capture anything. So, I mean, they will effectively be done as a faction after this one, I believe. I don't think there's anything hidden from the Dark Elves. It's time to put them in the ground for good, I think.
To me, Shadow Warriors.
Well, it looks like Croatia and England are going into extra time. Very, very spicy. I haven't actually watched much of this World Cup. There have been quite a few others that I did. I watched a lot of 2010 and a lot of 2014. 2018 one, not so much. I have to be honest, the whole time wasting thing triggers me pretty deeply. I'm really glad that FIFA has decided to go towards video replay. It's made some really big changes and been able to make some really big calls here at the World Cup, which is awesome. Because, I mean, if at a tournament that big, you need to get the calls right. You need to get them correct. But it still triggers me very deeply that they still have not figured out a way to discourage people flopping and rolling on the ground like they've been shot by a 12-gauge shotgun. Because it's just like, it delays the game. And then the problem is, you see stuff like yesterday where France was playing and Mbappe gets a yellow card for wasting like 25 seconds of the game. Which is fine, yeah, you give him a yellow card, but those are going to be gone in the final anyway. It's not going to carry over. And they didn't add any extra time on top of the extra time. So all the time that he wasted in extra time ended up benefiting France. And then it's like, why even bother giving the yellow card if you're not going to give him more serious punishment for wasting that much? It's like, all you have to do is stop the clock. And FIFA still haven't figured out a way to actually implement that. Because, I don't know, maybe there's some money in keeping soccer the way, or football the way it's been this entire time. It's like, just make that simple change, stop the clock when people are flopping, and then people will be discouraged from actually wasting that much time, and we won't see the, frankly, they look like pussies, dude. When you get like touched on the ankle, literally touched, and then you roll around on the ground for 5 minutes like you're Neymar, like you've been shot by a Hellstorm rocket battery. Like, Jesus, it looks so embarrassing. It's really bad. So, yeah, that needs to change, for sure. But, other than that, I mean, we're here, killing Malekith. It's about to be the, end of the campaign, so let's kill some stuff, boys. Sorry for that rant. So, what we're gonna do here, well, actually, what I'm probably gonna do is I'm probably gonna run the hell away, because Dread Knights are coming to murder me. I don't know why my guys haven't started shooting yet. Please start shooting. Oh, they're gonna get really slow. They might die.
The winds rise.
Let's get a vortex off, actually. Oh, yes. Oh, yeah.
Striking forth. It will be done.
We should probably shoot those Dread Knights. I like that. They're dying horribly. That's always fun. Oh my god, those Raven's Heralds. What were you doing? What were you doing? Committing ritual Sudoku is what you were doing. Kill the War Hydra.
Doing my duty.
don't really want to breath attack that. Let's send you in.
With me.
Guys, you need to shoot him. Like, you see the thing that you're supposed to be shooting? Just shoot it. And then you can go to him, I guess.
Scion of Anarion.
Tie him up.
Loyal.
Oh no.
Ata. Forward.
Let's breath attack this. Malekith is coming.
Brave.
So Dread Knight's already routing. That's not surprising. They're routing. Everything's causing terror. Fireborn, you go kill the chariots and then wrap around the flank. Scions of Mathland, stop Malekith. Stop his rampage. He's out of control. There's no coming back from this. I should not send Sword Masters into those, but we can send you in.
I go.
Shoot him. And let's get some spells down. What do we want to do? What would be fun? Do we have a Common Castadora? We do, but that'd be really pointless. Wind Blast.
Winds of magic rise.
Do it. Where are you? Thank you. That looked pretty nice.
For duty.
Man, it's so anticlimactic, but there's nothing I can do about it. Like, I'm just too good at the game, bro. I'm just too strong. No one can stop me. Who is this man? Yeah, they're getting destroyed. Let's make sure this Charybdis isn't coming back.
Yes. Lakoi.
Although it doesn't matter. They were inside a settlement.
Without question.
Everyone shoot it. I want to see it fall. Beautiful. These armies are too strong, dude. I mean, when you're talking about 51 missile damage, it's just not fair. It's really just not fair at all. I'm not going to catch Malekith at this point. And say goodnight, sweet prince, to the Eternity King. Witch King no longer on the map. I don't think we'll ever see him ever again because I don't think those two, yeah, they're gonna just take a bunch of attrition. They're gonna have no health. They're gonna go suicide on Quark or something, and that will be the end of a Dark Elf Empire and the end of our war with Malekith the Witch King.
Isha bless you.
Just in time for Chaos. I don't know when Archaon shows up. I think maybe after you've beaten your small campaign objectives. So, what I think I'm gonna do, and we might do a couple more housekeeping things here. I do have one more thing I want to talk to you guys about, but what I think I might do is I'll probably just end up playing some more of this campaign on the side, just whenever I feel like it, for fun. I'll call this the finale, and then if we make a return to it at some point, because I get to a really interesting part, then that'll just be a one-off video that I don't really feel like beholden that I have to do it here or there or keep it relatively on track in terms of a schedule or anything. Of course, I've never been the most heavy person in terms of schedules for my campaigns. I just kind of upload them when I want to play it, usually once a week. But yeah, that's the end of Malekith, dude. And we have a gigantic empire now. We do have to worry about Chaos, the crappy early Chaos hordes, and then Archaon and Kolek will come at some point. I don't know when. If you guys want to let me know in the comment section, might be fun to play through to there and maybe get to a point where I'm in a defensible position that they'll actually attack. Because if I'm in Ulthuan and I'm in Nagarythe, I don't think Archaon and Kolek will ever show up there. I mean, they've got their own stuff to deal with in terms of the Empire and all that. So that'll be interesting to think about. What I do want to talk to you guys about a little bit here before we call the end of the campaign here is what do you guys think about fantasy settings for Total War in general? Obviously, Warhammer, I don't think it's going to be the last fantasy setting Total War takes on. I mean, you think about how successful Warhammer has been so far. Think about how many IPs will allow them to kind of get a bit more creative. I think one of the things that sometimes gets overlooked from the Total War perspective is that on the dev side of things, I think they like working with this kind of stuff a lot too. I mean, if you're a unit programmer or a modeler, definitely the artist for sure, who have been working with Roman legionnaires and Campbell cataphracts and stuff like that and samurai, which are awesome, like don't get me wrong, but you've been working on that stuff for like a decade, And then you come to Warhammer and you start getting to model Charybdis, and you get to start modeling great eagles with nobles on top of them, and all the nobility of high elves in general, and you talk about all the monsters and crazy units that are there. That's probably really fun for them to work on too. I mean, it's challenging, but it's fun. Like, it's a nice change of pace for them too. So I think we know that CA is going to tackle another fantasy setting after Warhammer. What would you guys want to see in terms of a new fantasy setting? Would you guys want to see them maybe tackle something like Game of Thrones? I'm personally of the mind that Total War doesn't work so well in that setting. I think that it'd be a big step down from Warhammer in terms of unit variety. You think about the Westeros kingdoms, I mean, most of them field very, very similar armies without much color or diversity at all. So I don't know that Game of Thrones makes that much sense, because politics is the biggest part of that universe, and CK2 and a lot of the Paradox games I think are much better for that than Total War. So they would have to seriously revamp the campaign map and diplomacy if they wanted to tackle that kind of universe. But there are tons of others. I mean, obviously Lord of the Rings is a clear one. Still, unit diversity would be worse in that game than it would be in Warhammer, but definitely not a bad setting for Total War. We've seen it work out amazingly well in Third Age. But there are others as well. The Witcher, Wheel of Time. I don't know too much about that, but I mean, there's a ton of fantasy universes that I think CA should think about tackling once this trilogy is over, and I'm curious what you guys would think would be awesome as well. But yeah,
I serve the king.
what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna call, like I said, I'm gonna call this the finale. We're gonna be done for now with this campaign, and I hope you guys have enjoyed it, because I really have. I mean, it's been a blast so far. There have been some really interesting battles, and it's been fun to see the Avatar of Khaine grow into a truly world-spanning power, as you'd expect when you draw the Widowmaker. But I think I will continue it on the side and just see if I can get to another really interesting part where maybe Archaon shows up or something, and then maybe make one or two one-off videos and see how that goes. But I think for now, we will call it at a turn 142. And if you guys want to see anything from this campaign, or if you want to see me tackle something else, a new Legendary Lord, a mod in particular that you really want me to play with, that kind of thing, any kind of request for content, feel free to leave those in the comment section below. Your opinions obviously matter quite a bit to me, because ultimately you guys are the ones who are supporting and watching the channel, and I appreciate that. So thank you all very much for sticking with me, for those who have, for the 8 or 9 parts that this has been. And I guess I will see you all in the next video. Indie Prime, signing out for now. Have a good one, guys.